Hey, fatty. The carnivore diet is heart attack city. Heart attack city. There's even some of these carnivore MDs are coming out of the woodwork like Dr. Klitz with bad CAC scores, coronary artery calcium buildup.
You know, I've been Mr. Crazy Carnivore for nearly 15 years. I felt amazing. And some recent things happening all over the world and in my life personally. We've seen some people leave us in this world, and maybe in a very polarizing way, potentially. And I've been thinking a little bit more how the shining light of faith in the highest power within all of us needs to be a positive light to bring people together. And leading as a carnivore and only eating meat maybe was a little too polarizing. And recently I've also had a test that showed my CAC score went from 700 to 800. And my CT angiogram noted a few more plaque sites with calcium in my LAD and my right coronary artery and in my circumflex, although my heart function and my blood flow is excellent. I feel great. I recently suffered from some acute colitis. I don't know what it was.
Okay, on steak only, which is exactly what Baker, Sean Muffin Top Baker, that's his big 30-day reset. Just eat a pile of steak. It's common sense. Okay, you want to reverse any artery damage you've caused with your stupid carnivore diet? Cut the fat out of the diet, you idiots. Low-fat diet. It's clean. It's clean. Deep down intuitively, you know this is the way to eat. Lean-ass meat, not fatty meat, and whole food carbohydrates. Okay, starch fruit. You're starting to see the arterial plaque buildup come out of the woodwork. Doesn't just happen overnight. Dr. Klitz is changing his tune. He's even adding in vegetables and potatoes and shit.
That maybe my consumption of only red meat may have contributed. I don't know. I bought these yesterday at Wegmans and packaged them today to freeze some and consume some. I've got some salmon. I also bought some halibut, tuna, and sea bass. I love scallops. I love lobsters, and I love beef. But maybe my focus on only beef and carnivore is not going in the right direction completely. Maybe being a little bit softer and inclusive. That's what I'm working on. You know, I'm not ready for broccoli, but baked potato with a lot of sour cream and butter, yeah. But I'm going to say, hey, listen, if you throw in a little bit of broccoli or asparagus in that, no, that's okay. I say cook it well and add the fat, butter. I've been using a little bit of Miller's Biofarm raw cream, raw butter.
Still screwing up by having too much dietary fat. Just going to cut the fat out of the diet. This is the problem with that whole carnivore diet scam. Okay, if there was one way, maybe, that you could do a high-fat diet and not have those negative side effects, it was the old school ketogenic diet, which is for therapy use only, which was insane low protein. And that yields you insane low blood sugars. The blood sugars need to be insane low, like insane low. We're talking like 3 millimoles per liter around the clock if the fat is high. Not like Sean Dad Bod Baker's blood sugars, which were basically the exact same as anybody that's eating a normal diet, but with a crazy amount of dietary fat. And you're knocking the vegetables out. You're knocking all the plant foods out. That carnivore diet is trash. Heart attack city. Okay, even when I pushed a low-carb diet in the past, how did I push it? Crazy low protein. It has to be insane low protein. I even talked about 10% protein. As soon as you bring the protein up with the fat being high, you run into problems. And when you knock the vegetables out, stupidity. Stupidity. That's why you're starting to see people get strokes and shit. And they're not even overweight. They're not even overweight. Okay, it's good that Dr. Klitz is coming out because he was hardcore steak only for like 15 years. The carnivore diet is heart attack city. Like I said, a true ketogenic diet has its place for like 1 in 100,000 people, maybe with epilepsy. And the protein's got to be rock bottom. Rock bottom, like what I used to talk about. But obviously, what kind of diet's that for the average person? Useless. Useless. And it still comes with negative side effects. It's so easy to solve these problems. We're talking about weight loss. We're talking about clean, clear arteries. We're talking a low-fat, clean diet, which actually exists in nature. All this high-fat meat is man-made as all hell. All of it. All this excessive amount of oil. You would never get that kind of oil volume out of nature if you go back like a bunch of centuries. Never. If you had to live on what's out in the bush where I live right here, it'd be lean game meat, whenever you could get it, and a pile of starch and berries. Low fat. It's always low fat. There's a version of a low fat diet in every place you'd go in the world. Poor man's diet. Poor man's diet. Fat kings have heart attacks. That's the only people that would have been eating a high fat diet back in the past. Rich ass, fat ass kings. Dead. The poor man's diet is how you live the longest. How you stay lean with arteries that aren't clogged up with a bunch of plaque. And that's the crazy part. You could be at a good body weight on that stupid carnivore diet and still have a bunch of plaque buildup in your arteries. How do you solve this problem today? You cut the fat out of that diet. You can trust starch. You can trust vegetables, low fat. You can trust lean meat in moderation. You can trust it. Okay, and you're going to get lean. And you're going to have crazy energy. And you're going to have perfect thyroid function. It's a no-brainer. It just took a few years to come out of the woodwork. Okay, you get that extreme nonsense, and people follow it long enough, and it shows up. Okay, it shows up. It takes time to clog those arteries up, baby. Especially if you're at a leaner body weight. But it's happening. It's happening. You got one carnivore MD that's been doing it longer than almost anybody, and he's changing his diet. What's that tell you? The gig is up. The scam is done, baby. The scam is done. It's time to go back to a poor man's diet. It's time to go back to a low-fat diet, which is cheap, starch, low-fat, fruit, lean-ass meat. You'll never have a problem for the rest of your life with any of this bullshit. These carnivore grifters, like Sean Dadbod Baker and Ken Dadbod Barry, it's the internet. You can show people anything. It's time for you people to wake up and use some of your own intuition here. Okay, if you're just trusting a crazy high-fat diet on blind faith, you're an idiot. Okay, you're an idiot. Why would you do that? It's a simple fix. You cut fat out of that diet. You cut fat out of that diet. You run a low-fat diet. Low-fat diet. Lean meat, whole food carbohydrates, starch, vegetables, fruit, no added fat, no added refined sugar. Done, you fat-ass pigs.